What does 8-bit
have to do with a pirate?
You'll find out on this week's Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of Top Number 10. I'm really excited about this week. We are doing the top 10 movie soundtracks.
Yep, you hear them all the time in your favorite movies, and we're just gonna talk about the ones that we like better than all the other ones.
Yeah, and this one should be a good one for you guys to jump in and comment what your favorite movie soundtracks are, because there are so many of them.
Yeah, and I have a feeling we're gonna have a lot of similar ones on this one.
Probably.
Because we have similar taste in movie soundtrack.
Alright, well, I'll go ahead and get us started, since you're fiddling with your notebook there. The first one on my list I put as Wreck-It Ralph, actually. I like Wreck-It Ralph. When I was watching the movie, the soundtrack is one of the things I noticed. It's a newer movie, but it goes back to the 8-bit sort of soundtrack, or the 8-bit sound from when video games were first coming out and they needed some music to put behind them. And it has a really cool retro feel, but yet it's still contemporary to 2014 or 2013, 2012, whenever it was released. And it still feels good even today when you're listening to it. You can get that sense of retro, but you also get today.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. But the soundtrack is very good to that. Number 5 on my list is going to be Pirates of the Caribbean. If you watch all of them,
Darn.
just the main theme.
But that's 4. You can't do that.
Yeah, I can do what I want.
Okay, go ahead. I'll jump in.
All right. So Pirates of the Caribbean. If you've watched any of the movies, you probably know the soundtrack. He's a Pirate is the main theme, I suppose. And it's just a very strong, prevalent theme. When you hear it, you automatically know what it is, or you do if you listen to it quite a bit. But that one is really good.
Yeah, I like Pirates of the Caribbean, and specifically, I've been listening through the albums, and I like number 4 because of the guitar with Rodrigo and Gabriella. That's really cool. But my favorite Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack, and this is my next one, is actually Pirates of the Caribbean number 3, At World's End. It's a long title, but I said it all in one mouthful. It has a really distinct feeling of its own. It's a really powerful soundtrack with the song that they sing, Hoist the Colors. When you're watching the movie, you get that, you just feel the emotion through the soundtrack, and I think that one really pushes the movie along and makes it even better than it already was without that specific soundtrack.
Yeah, I agree in that the third Pirates soundtrack is my favorite as well. Was that one on your list?
Yeah, I was. It was. I was actually going to save it for my last one as my favorite soundtrack.
Oh, well.
But I didn't, so go ahead and
all right. Well,
yours.
My next one, number 4, is Jurassic Park by John Williams. Now, it's just a great theme. For a movie that's so tense, I mean, dinosaurs eating people, it's really uplifting, and it actually reminds you of the theme, like a theme park. Music you would hear in a theme park, and I think that's really neat because it's tying into more of the theme park aspect of Jurassic Park than just violent dinosaur eating people.
Yeah, it's one of John Williams' classic ones, and on that note, I will jump into my next one, which is Star Wars, actually. I put Star Wars on my list. I wanted to do a John Williams one because all of his are so prevalent in our culture. Everyone knows Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Jaws, and so probably my favorite John Williams is Star Wars, and most specifically Episode 4, A New Hope. I have that soundtrack on my iPod and I'll listen to it. I like Cantina Band. That's one of my favorite ones. It's just sort of bouncy and I like that. And then of course the main Star Wars theme with the opening credits, and it's just really cool. A very imperial, well done theme.
Yeah. Yeah, the opening bit of the Star Wars soundtrack, it is very recognizable. You hear it pretty much anywhere. I mean, it's in sound chips on birthday cards or whatever. It's everywhere, so everyone knows that one. So that one is a very good one. And I did not put Star Wars on my list just because I knew you'd have it on yours.
And I knew you'd have Jurassic Park, so.
Let's go on. Another John Williams one, number 3 for me, is Indiana Jones. This is another just all-American, very well-known theme, and it's very recognizably John Williams too.
Yeah, it's the culmination of American adventure, the Indiana Jones theme, and you know when that plays, the spirit of Indy is around, and that was a little creepy, but okay. Yeah, I love that one. The next one that I'm going to say, we'll probably have our top one will probably be the same, so I'll wait on that one. The next one I'm going to say is actually a new release, Saving Mr. Banks. I have not yet seen the movie, and so I was hesitant to put this one on there, but I listened to the soundtrack on Spotify, by whom we are not sponsored, and but the first time I listened to it, I just really loved it. It is very nostalgic, and it brings about the best of everything in Disney, I think. It's very uplifting, emotional. Even though I haven't seen the movie, the soundtrack in some parts almost makes me cry. It's a beautiful soundtrack done by Thomas Newman, and I really love Saving Mr. Banks, the soundtrack.
Yeah, that is a really good one. It kind of took me by surprise because I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, and so he was listening to it, and I wasn't sure what it was at first because it seemed so cheery.
Yeah, it's a really surprising one, sort of.
Anyways, number 2 on my list has got to be the Lord of the Rings soundtrack by Howard Shore. It might not be one of the most recognizable ones. I mean, it's recognizable to me just because I've seen the movies and listened to it so much. But I think it's one of the best worked into the movies. Like, it doesn't overpower the movie, and the movie doesn't overpower it. So it works really well with what's being shown on screen.
Yeah, it's really powerful, meaningful. Howard Shore does an amazing job composing the Lord of the Rings films. It's just spectacular. Alright, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that our top one is the same, so let's say it together. 1, 2, 3, How to Train Your Dragon. I figured it's as much. How to Train Your Dragon is an amazing movie in and of itself, and the soundtrack just puts it over the top. It's an exhilarating soundtrack. It captures the essence of adventure, Viking spirit, everything about that movie in just sound. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is, and this one also really works very well with the movie. And it also works well as a standalone. Listening to it by itself is very, like almost all of the songs are extremely well done. Because a lot of movie soundtracks, you're listening to 1 or 2 songs that have the main theme in it, but the other ones you just don't really care for, and they're just taking up space. But this one, I've listened to through the whole soundtrack a lot of times, and every time, each song is equally engrossing, I believe. So.
I like that, engrossing.
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think that's one thing that is specific about movie soundtracks is when you have a soundtrack that you can listen to over and over again, listen to all the songs. I think sometimes what does that is when they sort of repeat elements of the main theme, and which they do in How to Train Your Dragon, they do it in Pirates of the Caribbean 3. I've been listening for it, and the more soundtracks that I notice that I notice that they repeat the theme, and so you almost don't know where you are in the soundtrack, and every song is just spectacular. Because it sort of repeats itself, but in a new and different way every time. So. And
I think maybe we should go over some of our honorable mentions right now because I mean might not have.
Yeah, no, I have plenty of honorable mentions.
But I had quite a few. First of all, Inception. That one, even though I mean it's not like the most varied or not the most variety of notes, it still is really good and it fits very well into the movie.
It does. It's sort of just that.
Yeah. Also, this one's not a movie, but it is a TV show, Sherlock. Well, in the movie, yeah, the BBC Sherlock. That theme is really good. I like that one a lot, and I've listened to the soundtrack a lot of times too, and it's all really good.
Yeah, for me, my honorable mentions would be almost anything by Hans Zimmer, who did the Pirates 2, 3, and 4. and I think he helped a little bit on one. I'm not sure. Let's see. He did Gladiator. I like Treasure Planet by James Newton Howard.
Yeah.
That's another one that I really like.
Yeah.
And then some by Thomas Newman, like Saving Mr. Banks.